You wake up already tired. Not a normal tired, but a deep weariness in your mind and body. The day hasn't even begun and everything feels heavy. Your thoughts, your chest, even the quiet. You look around and life seems normal. Work is waiting, your phone buzzes with new tasks, and the world keeps telling you, come on, you can do it. But what if no one told you this? You're not just tired, you're unwell. And this isn't just about you. It's a problem in our whole society. We live in a time where suffering is hidden. There are no loud bosses or clear rules. Instead, there's a hidden pressure to always perform. You've become your own boss, pushing yourself constantly. What used to be outside orders is now a quiet voice in your head. And that voice says, do more, be more, produce more, never stop. Byung-Chul Han calls this the Achievement Society. You feel free, but you are more trapped than ever. Trapped by the idea that every second must be useful. Every action must show results. If you stop, if you fail, if you rest, you feel worthless. Positivity has become harmful. Freedom has turned into chains. And being able to do anything has become a curse, meaning you can never rest. Do you feel guilty when you're not busy? Anxious if you don't reply to messages? Upset when you don't meet your own goals? This isn't just stress or fatigue. This is burnout. Not the kind a short break fixes. It's deep existential burnout, which empties you inside while you pretend everything is fine. If this sounds familiar, it's because you're in a system that wants you to believe this is normal. But it's not. This message isn't asking you to do more. It's a call to wake up. Someone is telling you for the first time, you are not weak. You're just trying to survive in a society that makes strong people sick. Take a deep breath. We'll talk about this, and you are not alone. In the past, power was loud. There were prisons, factories, clear commands. Be quiet, obey. Michel Foucault called this a disciplinary society. Someone ordered, you followed. A clear you can't was always watching. But that world with its clear rules is disappearing. What replaced it is more complex and cruel. Today, almost no one stops you directly. No one says you can't. Instead, they tell you, you can do anything. You are free, you have endless talent. It's all about effort. This sounds good, but it has a trap. If everything depends on you, then every failure is also your fault. This is the achievement society we live in. The prison has no walls, but it has endless goals. The punishment is not physical, it's mental. And the one demanding this from you is yourself. You've become your own self-entrepreneur. As Byung-Chul Han says, what's the problem? An entrepreneur can never stop. They can always improve, always grow, always do more. This puts you in an endless race with no finish line, no rest. Even free time has become a goal. Reading must be productive. Meditation must improve performance. Exercise is a chore. Even sleep is managed. You track its quality, calculate hours, optimize your routine. Resting isn't resting, it's preparing to perform better. You don't live, you just manage yourself. And when you fail, when you can't cope, when you get sick, you blame yourself. After all, no one stopped you, right? You had freedom, you had choices, you just had to try harder. But that's the trick. The new control makes you believe you are choosing to hurt yourself. Control has moved from the boss to your mind. You've become the guard of your own prison. The wall is invisible, built with expectations, goals, and self-demands. This wall is harder to break because you don't know where the system ends and you begin. If this is crushing you, something is wrong with this way of living. It's not natural to fight with yourself constantly. This silent war is hurting your mind, body, and soul. That's what we'll talk about next. This exhaustion isn't from an outside enemy. It comes from inside, fed by something that seems good but isn't. Too much positivity. The problem with always being happy. When too much positivity hurts, you learn to smile when you're breaking inside, to say, I'm fine when you're about to collapse, to look controlled and enthusiastic even when you desperately need a break. Why? Because we live with a new kind of force. It doesn't hit or yell. It tempts, invites, motivates. It's the force of positivity. Han warns, the 21st century is no longer about illnesses from being held back. What makes us sick today is not you can't. It's the endless, yes, you can. What hurts us inside is not old control, but too much excitement, too much seeming freedom, too many positive demands. The rule is to smile, produce, be happy, always. But this extreme positivity has a high cost. Depression, ADHD, anxiety, and burnout are no longer just personal problems. They are signs of a sick society. They are how our minds and bodies react when they can't handle the constant pressure to perform. And the worst part, you feel guilty. Couldn't be productive? Must be lazy, unmotivated, not focused enough, about to collapse. Need more yoga, more gratitude. The blame is always yours. This is how positivity makes you sick. It doesn't accept limits, failure, sadness, or slowness. The more you try to fit this fake idea of happy productivity, the further you get from your true self. You become a fake, always positive, while inside you're falling apart. Positivity is a command today. You're constantly told to believe in yourself, just want it, be your best. It seems inspiring, but the result is you never feel good enough, never think you did enough, never allow yourself to rest. There's always something to fix or speed up. You live surrounded by goals, numbers, comparisons. This constant pressure doesn't strengthen you. It drains you. It's like being on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. And you think you turned it on. But you weren't born this way. No one was born to live in constant high alert. This system was built, and it's slowly emptying you. Behind all this energy and rush, something has been buried. Something you forgot how to find. That's what we'll explore now. A part of you is dying, suffocated, forgotten. And maybe it's the only part that can heal you. It's time to talk about silence, boredom, and what you stopped allowing in your life. When was the last time you truly did nothing? Not planned, not replied, not consumed, not justified yourself. Just being, breathing, feeling time pass without feeling it's wasted. Maybe you don't know how anymore. It's not your fault. You're trained to be active, available, connected. Any pause is quickly filled by a notification, a new task, a short video. Oh, I need to do this first. Free time is waste. Silence is discomfort. And boredom is an enemy. But listen, deep boredom is not a flaw. It's a doorway. Byung-Chul Han says that in the past, boredom led to creation, deep thought, and true presence. It was where philosophy, art, and spirituality began. Because boredom, the kind that bothers you, that makes you face yourself, opens space for contemplation. And contemplation brings you back to being human. Today we have broken attention. We jump from one thing to another. Multitasking is a survival skill. You watch a video while texting, thinking about tomorrow, feeling guilty for not doing more. The present has become hard to bear. This mental overactivity has a cost. It steals your depth, your connection to the world, to people, to yourself. You only skim the surface of everything, even your feelings. You feel, but you don't go deep. You live, but you don't truly inhabit. That's why you're tired even after sleeping, anxious in silence, disconnected even with people around. Your mind is trained to run, but forgot how to stop. And stopping is not weakness. Stopping is a reunion. In silence, you hear what the rush hides. In the pause, you see how wounded you are. In emptiness, you rediscover who you are without all the layers of forced productivity. But returning to simply being takes courage. Courage to slow down, to face the discomfort of nothing to do, to endure emptiness until it becomes fruitful. And most of all, courage to say no to the demand to always perform. This brings us to one of Han's key ideas, the power to not be able as freedom. In the next part, we'll see why stopping can be your most powerful act and why the true rebel today is one who dares to do nothing. You're taught that freedom is doing everything, that more choices make you freer, that the perfect life is full of success, action, and your own decisions. But no one tells you that this excess of power and choice is also a prison. It's the most hidden and dangerous one. Society's logic is simple. If you're not doing something, you're wasting life. Everything must have a purpose, a use, a result. Even rest needs to be justified as energy recovery. Even silence is sold as strategic self-care. Everything needs to make sense, be profitable, create something. But Byung-Chul Han offers a powerful idea. True freedom begins when you reclaim the right not to do, not to act, not to want, not to be useful, to simply not be able to. This sounds strange, right? We try our whole lives to gain the power to do, to travel, to produce, to achieve. But the power to do has become a command. You can, so you must. What if you don't want to? What if you can't? What if you're just tired? Society says clearly, you have failed. In this model, there's no room for weakness, no room for no. Anything that doesn't fit this drive for action and growth is seen as wrong, lazy. But what if real strength is in that space of saying no? Saying no is a powerful act. Refusing too much, too fast, too much work is resistance. Not wanting to always improve, not taking every chance, not answering every call, it's saying no to the world to say yes to yourself. This not being able to is revolutionary. It breaks the idea of endless productivity. It shatters the myth of being the best. It gives back to people the ability to exist without constantly proving their worth. When you allow yourself that no, something changes inside. Anxiety turns to quiet, guilt to presence, rush to breathing. You stop chasing yourself because you are already here, whole now. But this freedom isn't easy. It requires you to face things, to look at the emptiness and say, I accept not to be everything. I accept not to do everything. I accept to just be. This goes against everything you've learned. That's why many get sick trying to be free, not knowing they're just swapping chains. The real challenge isn't to do more. It's to be able to stop, to let go, to say enough. When you see no as freedom, clarity appears. A strength comes not from pushing, but from letting go. A peace comes when you stop fighting yourself. And that's the deepest truth. The burnout you feel isn't just tiredness. It's a symptom of a broken way of life. It's a cry for help from your soul. If you've read this far, something inside you is screaming. Quietly perhaps, but screaming. You realize something is wrong with how we live. I'll tell you plainly. What you feel is not weakness, not inability, not a lack of mental strength. It's a natural response to a system that demands the impossible and calls those who can't deliver failures. You're not failing because you're tired. You're exhausted because you've been forced into a life that drains all your energy. A life that turns each person into a production machine, a show of performance, a symbol of success. In this race for an impossible ideal, the most precious thing is lost, meaning. Byung-Chul Han says burnout is not rare. It's the clearest sign of a collective crisis. It's not a few people breaking down. It's a whole social idea breaking down, one based on self-exploitation, efficiency, and ignoring silence, leisure, and inner life. You are not alone. This pain, this fatigue, this emptiness is not your fault. It's a cry from your body and soul asking for a different rhythm, a different view, a different way of being in the world. And this way starts with a simple, powerful choice: to refuse to keep living this way. Maybe you don't know how to get out. Maybe what I've said touched you deeply, but you don't know what to do with that feeling. That's okay. The first step is not to act. The first step is to recognize, to feel, to allow yourself to look inside without filters, without defenses. If this resonated, I ask one thing. Comment below. Tell me how you feel if this made sense. Because change doesn't happen all at once. It happens in layers and talks and thoughts that build up until one day you wake up different, more whole, more aware, more free. Subscribe for more free, valuable videos. Thanks for watching. Mind Unbound.